Thank you for watching Echo News from Schengen Media, all the way from Milan, Italy. I'm so glad you are watching. My name is Shegun Johnson. I anchor from the city of London, and I have my colleagues across the globe. Someone is in East London, is our ambassador, Nat. Nat, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you very much.
All the way in Milan is our colleague, Mark Godwin. Mark, you're welcome to this special program.
Good morning, Dr. Shagun. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you.
It's special today because COP26 is coming to an end very soon, and each day has been a day with a difference. Today they're looking at transport, and guess who is going there? The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will be there to discuss what kind of transportation we should be using. Some have said we should be driving on battery. But today, the discussion in England is that there are very few mechanics to repair battery cars. Well, let me give it to our ambassador what we should expect at COP26. Is there going to be any agreement at all at the end of it all, like Kyoto Agreement, like Paris Agreement, or the UN draft agreement will just be thrown to the sea again? Nat, what's going on in at COP26 Glasgow?
Okay, COP26 has eventually or is eventually coming to an end, most likely on Friday. And that is why some of these world leaders are rushing back to Glasgow, Scotland. It started almost 2 weeks ago now, and it was the 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 agenda was topped by climate change, then finances, then transport. Now, uh, transport is a contributory factor to the climate change issue. But what we have seen is decisions to and fro, agreements to and fro, and we find the big brother country like USA, their delegations alone, starting from the president himself and members of his cabinet, former President Obama, Barack Obama was there, and we have a strong delegation from Capitol Hill,
The speaker.
we see our old friend lady who's very, very strong with Trump. Nancy Pelosi was there with a very with very powerful members of the Congress. That shows the importance they are tied to it, especially the political importance. But our concern now is all said and done. After Friday, what next? We all agreed that there is need for urgent action to make sure to see the possibility of minimizing the worst situation of the climate we are now facing. And we want to believe that all the leaders would equally take it very seriously to act, to sponsor, and to ensure that we have a reduction in the carbon emission.
Thank you. Mark, how are you guys taking it seriously in Europe? What's the position of Europe in all of these discussions? Are you taking it seriously? I know the last one, the COP25 took place in Madrid, Italy, didn't it? And how are you guys taking it in Europe?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Shagun. Yes, this COP26 is being anchored by Italy and UK. Yesterday, there was a sad news. Italy has dropped to 30th out of the 63 countries in the Climate Change Performance Index. There's an index that has been done. It's called CCPI, and Italy is on number 30 out of 63 countries, down from 27. So this
now,
index
for the sake of our viewers and listeners, what does that mean? It means that you are giving more carbon dioxide emission, you are not following the rules, you are not following the agreement.
Yes.
Or tell us, what does that mean?
Yes, what that means is we have scored low in greenhouse gas targets. We are very low. We've scored very low. There's a target by 2030 to really reduce the greenhouse gas emission. So we've fallen in that target.
Okay. Who is number one? Which country is number one? I mean, let us.
China is number one. China is number one.
That is, China is the one polluting the world most.
Yes, China is number one.
And he didn't come to this meeting. So at least their prime minister.
Exactly. So that's what we're seeing. On the other hand, yes, and it's a follow-up to the Paris Agreement. And all European countries actually are very low in that greenhouse target. The environmental NGOs around the world are calling for steeper reduction laws. There is a cry for people to even reduce car usage, here in Europe, here in the Western Europe. So the COP26 is issues are being addressed, but we just hope these Western countries will follow up and do the needful. It's not really about talking; it's about doing. And so far,
I was watching yesterday, Mark. I was watching the discussion yesterday from their main screen at COP26. They said the way the leaders are going, they are aiming at 2.4, and whereas the ideal thing is to have 1.5 increase in temperature. That is, if the temperature of the globe it should increase to 2.4, there will be serious challenges in certain countries, flashes and water melting, glacier melting, and the submerging of islands. But that all the targets are going to 2.4, whereas they should target 1.5 increase in temperature. But even with the concerted efforts, what they are tending towards is 2.4. What can be done for the leaders to listen and say, look, your target for 2030 is not good enough?
Well, one of the things that can be done is, although it looks somehow, but it is tax reduction on investments and production of goods and services. That was what somebody was trying to say yesterday. If tax is reduced, if there is that reduction of tax, they said companies might go into some of these non-emitting production, like somebody was trying to say yesterday. Then another thing is a reduction of some of these goods and services that requires gas emission. Like we were saying last time, people should reduce too much clothes wearing, too much. But I don't know how some of those things can be, because humanity has come to we all the things that are a problem to the climate are things human beings like. Human beings want to drive their cars, human beings want to look good, human beings want to everything, and these things affect the environment, and it's a problem. Now also Europeans are thinking of doing other ways. The electric car use and some of these new ideas might come in to help if it could be sustainable.
Yeah, thank you.
we are looking at all those. We are looking at all those factors for now, and
Yeah, I
we
think
hope.
there's going to be multiple of factors to reduce the
Yeah.
carbon emission. And we are many of these have been told, and we we now look the children, that is those under 20. They are saying that they're not taking them seriously enough. It's going to be their world in another 60 years, in another 80 years. It's going to be their
Yes.
world, and that many people who are 50, 60 now will have gone, and nobody is taking them seriously. Ambassador Nat, how do you think they're going to be taken seriously now? Because they say they're not taking them seriously. What else can we do to make sure that everybody is listening to them? Is their world in another 30, 40 years?
Well, the issue now is how committed are our world leaders? How are they committed? How committed are they to the generations yet unborn? And the answer is that they are not committed. They are
Wow.
more egocentric. They are more concerned about themselves, them, and nothing else, and their families. And incidentally, some of their families will include some of these young people. And so
Mm,
that is the main thing. If they were committed to the generations yet unborn, especially when the Queen here in the UK, that was her passion, that we should remember that there are generations yet unborn who will suffer the consequences of our actions today. So
mm,
that is it. And the children, even when they demonstrate on the street of Glasgow or Paris or London, it doesn't mean anything to our leaders of today. It doesn't mean
mm,
it's a temporary disruption, but they just carry on life as usual, business as usual. And so the, the the youth should be more maybe disruptive in a positive way, uh,
mm,
as they continue to cheer to share their concerns with the world. A young girl, I think from Nigeria also, was talking the other day about climate anxiety.
wow.
Yes, when you really know what that means, we are all concerned, and we should be held responsible and accountable.
Absolutely. So we're talking about climate anxiety.
Yes.
At the conference, somebody said, without glacier, there will be no world. This planet Earth will vanish. So that somebody should listen somewhere. Without the glaciers, that is the ice that have not melted, without them, we will disappear. That's why they want to keep the temperature at 1.5. They should all aim at 1.5, but all the decisions are just towards 2.4. Is it true? To what extent is it true that without the glaciers, there is no world? I know little about planet Earth, that we are at a maximal position closer to the sun and we disappear, we melt, far away from the sun and we freeze. But they say without the glaciers, there will be no planet Earth. So, Nat, what is the importance of this glacier, this unmelted ice
The
to
the
us?
the 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 thing is with creation. The
Yeah.
creator who created this earth did
Mm,
it in such a way that it was perfect.
mm,
But thereafter, with the uh, human handling of the environment, uh, trying to change one thing or the other, we have the challenges today. But people don't want to care or talk about this world was created a perfect place. And there are rules were given as to how to live our lives as human. But the human came in maybe from 0 to 7.5 billion souls on the surface of the earth. And it is the activities of these 7.5 billion people that is now creating these challenges for humanity. And even when we are talking about it, it's not serious talk. It is all for the cameras, and that is the end of it.
You know, the more you are talking about, the more I'm thinking of what the Bible says that don't eat out of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That is, man, the more you push to wanting to have more good knowledge, not evil, more good knowledge, like flying, like using your rockets to get to the moon and the stars. And the more you are doing that one, the more you are getting to the digital age, trying to do what is good. But the byproducts of all those good things, they are evil. The more you fly, the more you go do so many things, even the more you use your mobile phone, the more carbon is emitted. We have so many methanes because of the consumption pattern, so that man is not particularly wanting to go and do evil, but the byproducts of the knowledge of technology and digital age is now killing the planet Earth. Are you seeing the problem now?
Yes, yes.
That evil is inherent in the knowledge of good. You are not planning to bomb any place, but you discover that, oh, if you use some atomic bomb, you could bomb atomic hydrogen atom, you could bomb some places. So evil just comes out of the knowledge of good. So the man who says, don't attempt to know everything, is actually preventing you from harming yourself due to the byproducts of good knowledge. But it doesn't appear people are getting it that way. And so we may just have to. Mark, you want to say something?
Yes, it doesn't really appear that people are getting it that way. And it's been talk, like we said. Remember, this climate change meeting now is a follow-up of the Paris meeting also in
Yeah,
2015 or thereabout.
15.
And
Yeah, yeah.
they all promised to reduce their gas emission. They all promised to work towards this whole thing. But the world is even getting more into polluting the earth than before. Everyday activities and production of goods add more to the pollution. So I don't know how if there will be a follow-up to this one again. You know, there's been so much speeches, so much to say, but at the end of the day, everybody still goes back to, because everybody is also trying to beat the other country, the other counterpart over production of some certain goods. You know,
Mm.
China wants to produce more. China wants
Yes,
to do more.
yes.
You know, so
Science and technology, they are driving us to get more, to discover more, to get more. But the more we get, the more carbon emission, the more increase in temperature, the more the ozone layer is disappearing, the more things are being damaged. The whole earth is dying gradually. But nobody appears to get it, because if you are employed in a business, they want you to get to a production capacity to give profit, profit, profit. And the more you drive your company for profit, the more you produce, the more you innovate, and the more the byproducts are killing the people. Look at all the plastic in the oceans. Is it not because nobody wanted to kill all the fishes in the ocean? But the byproduct of plastic is that it doesn't degrade, and therefore it's killing, suffocating the animals in this ocean. And we have this challenge, but it looks like nobody's taking the Bible seriously. Well, for now, we have to leave it as that, because an
so
agreement is being written.
the meeting ends on the 12th, and
Yeah.
let's see what final some
Agreement.
conclusions that will be brought up. Yes, the
There
climate.
is a draft agreement written by the UN at the moment, but they will now debate it and discuss it. And one comma, like we saw in Paris, one comma could mean a lot. Just one comma, because I remember in 2015 they were discussing one comma. This comma here will mean a lot to America, and therefore America could not sign it. They removed the comma, and then it meant different things, and then it became something. Well, now we will just wait and see. We understand that the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, had taken his own jet and gone to Paris to meet Emmanuel Macron and other fellow African leaders. Tell us more.
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari is at the moment in Paris, and this Paris meeting they call it Peace Forum in Paris, and this is not the first time they are meeting. You will recollect Macron, the Prime Minister of the Prime Minister President of France. He's so fascinated and falling in love with Africa for his own interest, maybe for the interest of France too. And we know he has visited African countries a number of times, especially the French-speaking, the Francophone countries. And so he inviting African leaders to Paris is really at the expense of the African leaders, because most of them, if not all of them, will fly in their presidential jets. They carry a large number of routine of staff who will take extra code and do so many other things at the expense of each country. And Macron wants to consolidate his grip on the Sahel region in Africa, starting from Senegal to somewhere around Chad, all those countries. And so Macron is just consolidating the French empire of 2020s on the 21st century, and for economic reasons, those particular regions are rich in
yes, rich in minerals. Yeah.
solid minerals, the minerals the West will need for the electric cars, for telephones, for many other things, and specifically areas like Congo, Senegal, Niger Republic, they are rich in minerals, and that's what he's
Wow.
looking for.
Okay. We wish him well. We'll be monitoring what they are saying and see whether there will be peace from Paris. We know that Champs-Élysées will be glowing right now. And Macron has election next year, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And
it
he's
does.
fighting for his political life.
Yes.
You think he's going to make it, or he has enough enemy?
It is going to be very, very difficult for Macron to win another term in France, because there are so many challenges, and he happens to be one of the French prime minister or president who have been attacked in the public, right? And
Yes.
when such attacks come up, it speaks volumes.
And more than once. More than once.
Yes, more than
Not that,
once.
not that we support it. Nobody should support such a thing, but more than one. Yes, Mark, you think any peace can come out of Nazareth? Sorry, Paris.
Nothing will come out of Nazareth. No, nothing. All these are just well, they are keeping themselves busy. They are showing to people that they are doing something, but all of this brings nothing at the end of the day. We know this, Dr. Shagun. It's just normal bureaucratic talks and all that. Nothing tangible comes out of Nazareth. Comes out of. So anyway, we are watching, and Ambassador Nat has said it all. Yes.
All right. We also note that President Buhari loves traveling more than visiting his people in different parts of Nigeria, even when they are bereaved. It's just an observation. Would that be a fair observation?
Yeah,
Anybody?
that's a very fair. That's a good one. It's very you're correct from my own end too. I mean, we've had him traveling more than the visiting. Well, somebody broke it down and said his travel involves what they call extra codes and allowances, and this is where he makes his cuts. You know.
But is the president, does he need all those extra codes as the president? He can
well, Ambassador Nat, the president still enjoys all that benefit. Is it not so?
No, he see the
traveling
office,
allowance.
The office of the president of Nigeria and even the vice president, they don't spend any kobo of their own. These are states, they are fed and cared for, clothing, medical, everything is by the taxpayers of Nigeria.
And even if they want to buy personal things, they just use government money.
Yes. In fact, the president doesn't, he at any time you wouldn't find a kobo in his pocket.
And yet he could instruct some people, pick that one for me, pick that one for me.
No, that's what it means. That's what it means. That he can't find a kobo in his pocket.
Well, let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at one more thing, what is going on in Belarus and Poland, and then we talk about who has won in Anambra State. I know many of you know, you have known who has won in Anambra, but some things we want to discuss you don't know concerning Soludo and the Anambrarians. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. The articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story magazine. Get Schengen Story magazine full editions.
Thank you for watching us. It's the Echo News from Schengen Studios in Milan. I'm so glad you're watching. We got this story in the last few days of the altercation between Poland and Belarus. You recall that Belarus has been in the hands of the Russian President Putin, and there's these terrible border clashes. Now, from the little we know about border clashes, they happen at the border, but it's by far bigger than what we know, because the issue might look like it's a border issue, but actually that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's my pleasure to call Mark from Milan to tell us what's going on between Belarus and Poland.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Shagun. It's a very serious thing, as we can see from the video.
Jak przejdą cytrynę i dojdą do tego płotu, podsuwamy się tak.
Yes, that's a very serious situation that is brewing from Belarus, from the border between Belarus and Poland. Now, the story is this: about 2,000 migrants that are in Belarus want to cross over to Poland. Upon arrival, they are being pushed to the border and forced to sleep by the border in the cold. Now, what is happening there is both diplomatic issue and a failed relationship in EU also. Belarus is an European Union, was before in the European Union, but is on suspension because of the ill treatment of people, its citizens. So EU has suspended Belarusian membership in the EU community. Now Poland is still a member of the EU community. And so the uprising in Iraq and Syria, some of these Middle Eastern region, brought in these migrants to that part of Belarus. And because there are no immigration laws covering them, so the Belarusians are pushing these people into Poland, telling them to go to Poland, you know. And now the story is also that these migrants said, some of them are saying that it looks as if they are using them as a pawn, because Russia and Belarusian Prime Minister Lukashenko are partnering together in doing some things against their citizens. So Russia is the one encouraging this push of these migrants, you know, to orchestrate trouble in EU. EU and NATO members and some people have said that the whole thing is being done against humanity, because these are young people, these are people that are helpless, that have come all the way from the Middle East and even from Asia. And they found themselves there in Belarus, and the Belarusians are not taking care of them. So it's brewing. Yesterday in the European Union, the Commission said that the case might go out of proportion if not checked. Many of the people are young men and women from Middle East, like I said, and they are suffering this thing. They are suffering the cold. They are suffering to sleep without anything to cover themselves in this very, very cold weather. So this is what is going on for now, and
all right,
still monitoring it.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nat. I know you're an ambassador. So does this mean that when God said, love thy neighbor as thyself, this is what he meant? There shouldn't be clashes at the borders if you love your neighbor as yourself. So God was referring to the nation. So these two neighboring countries are not loving themselves, or is it just because of the migrants that have led to this? Nat, do we see an end to these kind of challenges in the years to come?
Yeah, things are going to get worse and really bad.
Wow.
Yes, as we progress in this journey of international politics, because the big man of those former Russian republics is pushing the button behind the scene, and that is, we're talking of Vladimir Putin, the Russian strongman. You remember what he did in Ukraine, and so it's an aggressive push to expand influence on those particular areas, and by implication, the whole of Europe and even the Middle East. You see what the Russian president is doing in the Middle East.
Okay.
And also,
we leave it at that, because there are so many issues to be discussed, and I see that Dr. Osita Aniemeka is in the studio. It's very good if we can have him in the studio live and well, because we want to. How are you doing, Doc? How's everything going on?
Very well, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, good to have you on this wonderful day. I've been waiting for you to come in because
Good morning. Good morning from
Professor
Nigeria.
Charles Soludo has become the governor in waiting in Anambra State. Hold on, hold on. Nobody is joyful yet, because I understand the APC, they have not accepted the result. They are going to contest it at the tribunal up to the Supreme Court. Give us a feel of what is going on in Nigeria concerning that election, Dr. Sita. Are you hearing me?
No, I couldn't hear you. That's why I'm shaking my head. I couldn't hear
Oh,
you.
okay. But can
And
you can hear me
ambassador,
now?
I can hear you now, but the ambassador has been yanked off. So
No,
do
it's
we wait
okay.
for him to come back, or we just
No, no, no,
okay?
no, it's okay. It's you. We want to have the feel of how Abuja has taken the result of Charles Soludo being the governor in waiting. Was it expected, or were they expecting the APC candidates to win? And because it has implications, the APC candidate is a far third. If you add the result of the APC and the PDP candidates, you'll discover that they are not even up to the APGA candidates' number of votes. So is a hands down what people call landslide. So what's the feel in Abuja about this result?
It's euphoric. People are happy. But let me also tell you what has happened. All
Okay.
other political parties have come together, unlike what happened in Imo. Other political parties have come together to stay with the truth. They're on the side of right. So the ambush and the hijack of political office, like what happened in Imo, cannot happen in Anambra State. As a matter of fact, the fact that the ADC in a simple letter sided with Soludo, and the ADC flag bearer voted for Soludo, and then every other party is saying congratulations to Soludo. APC, as the all Progressive Congress, or what they call them, cannot do anything in Anambra State. As in Abuja here, there's been signs of respect and recognition, and also what you might call reverence, respect, recognition, reverence for the simple fact that Anambra State was able to decide this for themselves, and then there will be there'll be no external, yes, there'll be no external force, for decision. They made the decision themselves to make it peaceful. They were provoked, Dr. Shegun. They were provoked.
Yeah.
That was the plan. They were provoked. They were provoked in so many places. They were threatened. But the boys said the only thing we can do now. That was what I was talking about about IPOP thing. The only thing we can do now is to calmly win this election as an example.
You
And it
see,
came to pass.
we will discuss this thing into detail in the next few minutes. Ambassador Nat, this shows that the Anambra State is the only state that has an organic party that has originated within itself and is holding within itself and is highly respected because of the continuity of Peter Obi Obiano and now Guto Soludo. It is unlike other states where they have APC and PDP, which came in, but for Anambra State, they have an organic party. What does it say of the Anambra people?
Well, the Anambra people, ably represented by Dr. Sita, they have what they call an Anambra spirit, and you cannot break that spirit. There's a high degree of 99.9% unity of purpose within that geopolitical zone, and it has shown. But really, what really happened up till Thursday or Friday last week? Obiano was afraid of APC because the federal might had attempted to do something otherwise about
to hijack.
Yeah, something more than hijacking, something like a tsunami or like a tsunami. But when Thursday Eve or Saturday, I mean Friday Eve, IPOP said the coast is clear, go out and vote, then the message changed. The federal government got that memo and they were shivering, they were shaking, they were afraid. If IPOP, who nobody could control up till Thursday night or Friday night, is now saying, Ndigbo, please go and vote for APGA. And so that what happened. So, and that is going to happen for some time to come, not even Soludo, but after Soludo.
Thank you. Dr. Sita, when I was an undergraduate at the University of Lagos many years ago, we did a course, Political Behavior, and one of the core textbooks we used was Who Governs by Robert Dahl. Who Governs? And Robert Dahl was looking at the New Haven city in America and trying to determine who is the man behind the decision making in that city. And since then, I've always been using the parameters of Robert Dahl to look at these political institutions across the globe. And on this occasion in Anambra State, who governs? Because it appears federal government could use its boots and guns to determine who governs. But we have seen from Anambra that boots and bombs did not govern, but brains govern. And I'm talking of brains right between Soludo and the IPOB. Many people believe that Soludo will do a good job. I don't know why. I don't know him. But from what I have read, they believe that Soludo will transform Anambra to a great extent. And at the same time, IPOB has given Soludo a free chance and the Anambrians a good chance of having development in the next 4 years. I just, from your experience, who governs?
Okay, well, let's look at Dahl himself. Let's look at Dahl. Dahl is proposing plural democracy. You understand that? He says democracy is the people for the people by the people, but that is pluralistic, which is good, which is okay because that was purely academic. The truth about this is that you only allow plural democracy when the leader allows it.
Wow.
Let me give an example. With the same Southeast, let me give an example. Omahi, and a simple, singular, selfish interest. Simple, singular, selfish. He pulled, just look at that. He took himself out of a party that brought him in power. And he was expecting that his selfish interest will flow and delude the others. And they said no to him. Then take it across board now to Imo State and imposed democracy, so-called, because it's not military. And people are saying that we don't have a governor. They say it to him, we don't have a governor. He's not His Excellency. He's not His Excellency. He's not. So if you're not excellent and you're leading by duress, God bless you. And then you are not elected because you jumped camp from a party that put you there. You went into APC because of a selfish thing. They have proved Robert Dahl right.
Wow.
Because the idea of plural democracy is that this thing exists in the minds of the people. Politics is about people. And they are thinking that because they have the ultimate power, and the black man's ultimate power can be evil. It's all over African countries, all over African countries. The black man's, that is why one person, the president, can shake hands with Chinese, take a loan without even discussing it with the people, and draw the people into that big problem. Like what we're owing now. We are a detonation now to the fact that if you pull Anambra State away from Nigeria, yes, I was going to say that. They are the only state now that can survive on their own without debt because they have the money on their own. So,
yeah.
to answer your question,
Peter Obi told us a lot about that. Yeah, go on.
He was the only man that can show an example because it was Anambra State. So to answer your question, who governs in Anambra State is Charles Soludo from March next year, with the people that he has been building in the last 28 months.
Wow.
I was part of that number. I left because I wanted to be able to say what I'm saying now to everybody else. Because I didn't want to be, I was telling them that the man has a conscience to build. The man was the only person who came before the people and named IPOB as a metaphor for what? Restructuring. He didn't say that IPOB meant for the Igbo people to leave. He never said that. He said they're asking you to do the right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Them to boycott elections in Soludo State, knowing that Soludo is going to continue in his own spirit to raise awareness about what is happening in Igbo land.
Let me ask Mark in Milan.
And he's going to govern with a team that understands what he's looking for. And what he's looking for is uprightness. He might not have achieved it before because he didn't have ultimate power in CBN and the rest of them. But even as a college professor, he was doing his own bits. I was in college.
I think uprightness is the word. Uprightness is the word. Uprightness, I will go for that any day, anywhere. Mark, the all parties came together and said they would prefer Soludo. They didn't say we would prefer APGA, but we prefer Soludo. What does that inform you? What is the significance of that?
Yes, that's like Dr. Osita said, that shows unity in Anambra State. The ADC gubernatorial candidate came out boldly and said he didn't fare well in the election, so he's throwing his weight behind Soludo. So that was a very good one. In the
Is it possible we have his video clip? Kachuku, can we have his video clip where he where he made his declaration so that the world will see it? Yeah.
We can have that.
So he was declaring it and it was recorded. Yeah.
Yes. So we have the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria and the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, is now declared the winner of the Anambra governorship election. The returning officer, Professor Florence Obi, gave the announcement last night. We stayed all night to hear that result. And Charles Soludo has, she said Charles Soludo has certified the requirement of law, hereby declared winner and is returned elected. So Soludo, who has been a governor, I think CBN governor from 2024 to 2029, he has done very well. Yes, and he's
let me give the position as it is. The total number of valid votes cast was 241,523. 8,108 were void. The returning officer had earlier stated that Anambra, with a total number, listen to this one, of 2,466,638 registered voters, 2.4 million registered voters, but only 241,000 voters. Are you seeing the discrepancy? We lost about we lost over 2 million voters, 2 million registered voters. I'm trying to show people that in any form it was a low turnout. If 241,000 came to determine for 2.4 million registered voters, and then he went on to say that there were only 253 accredited voters for the election, which began on November 6 and ended on November 9, 2021. Now, the rundown of Soludo's biodata, he was a one-time governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He was born July 28, 1960, and hails from Isofia Aguata local government area of Anambra State. Listen to this one. He's a ton of the soil, you know. He obtained a first degree in economics at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, came first class, and worked in many national and international organizations, including the World Bank and the United Nations Economic Commission for West Africa and the International Monetary Fund. Soludo, we are told, was the economic advisor to former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the chief executive officer of the National Planning Commission. Now, we've been told this one, and many people are looking forward to him to perform with this kind of biodata and his pedigree. Dr. Osita, I think he would be on a hot seat trying to prove his mettle, isn't it?
Yes, he will, and that's why he's been planning for 48 months. He's been working very hard. He wasn't planning because he was going to force himself to win. He just said to himself, like a macroeconomist that he is. Okay, remember I told you a story. 2006, he saw Nigeria the way it is now. He saw Nigeria the way it is. He said to his team, let's find a way to begin to solve these problems early. 2 years after, his team came to me. He's a team person, he's a team player. They said to him, this is what we think you should do. And the man said, let me tell you the problem with this. This year, 2008, we have over between 480,000 students on 600,000 Nigerians leaving school without jobs, without even a promise for getting jobs. That they might still live their lives not getting one quality job. So why are we not changing into what has grown the rest of the world? Let's start them with entrepreneurship development. And he took the risk, got money out of the bank, and started the program. Kano, Lagos, Onitsha, like a pyramid. You know, these are the three first centers. The one in Onitsha did not work. You know why? Because nobody believed them.
Wow.
Listen to the story. So when he had established the others, when the other centers came, he had left office. These centers that came after he left office were Maiduguri, Calabar, and Makurdi. So we now have 6 centers, but the one in the southeast did not work. You know why? Because people started fighting themselves about dividends of the program instead of letting the program roll the ground. And he warned them and said, this is not our spirit. We are supposed to be the way showers for this program. So when I took over the program in 2014, it was war for me. I went to every state governor that I went to, they shunned me. Only Okezia Ikbazo said to me, this is what we've been looking for. Let's do this. So my office was in Umuahia. And we pulled out from there. Yes, and I took the centers. I took that program to all the five states. Most of the states were so resistant. Omahi worked with me. Rochas worked with me. But in other centers where they refused, I went to private sector. Like I went to Newi. I worked with a church in Newi. In Enugu State, it was what's it called? Chuka Otazi, a politician from the Nsukka area. So what I'm trying to prove to you is that people may never understand what he's doing. But if you allow him establish it and let it run the way he planned it, you see the results.
I'm really happy about this story that you're saying. If we can get it, in one state. I mean, if Anambra State should become a developed state in the sense of the first world, and we can see it's working. It won't be one day, it won't be 1 year, but we see that it's working. We see that it's working. Everybody will now follow it as a prototype. Unfortunately, in Lagos State, they have a lot of money because a lot of factories and a lot of businesses, and because it is a port. But we are not seeing the development infrastructurally on the ground. Lagos State is bedeviled with so many potholes and no roads and overcrowded, and yet they have the money. But we're looking for a developed country. If Anambra could do this, I think it would be a great thing.
Now, Dr. Shegun, if you let me talk for the next 2 minutes.
I'll give you 3.
Let's go back to the Lagos State you just mentioned now. Every tax in the till, every tax income in the till is from the people we're just talking about now.
Yes.
All their markets, let's count them: Aspanda, Balogun, Ladepo, Oshodi, what's it called? Ikeja, bless you. And then the big one, the Alaba International Market.
Alaba, yes.
They have a daily turnover of 3 trillion.
Are you serious? 3 trillion naira.
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me, sir. On a daily basis, those markets create the kind of money you describe Lagos with. And I'm dead serious about it. So what normally happens is this: they make this money. Lagos State, taxes them, and they say to Lagos State, "We'll make more." They created an international market that every day on the streets, on the corridor from Lagos to Abidjan, are traders who come into Lagos to just buy electronics. We don't make electronics in Nigeria, do we?
No, we don't.
But they come here because they want the good electronics. So you go to Alaba, people are shopping there. You go to Balogun, people are there buying other things. You go to wherever you go to, the picture of the market. Then look at what they do with spare parts. The man who is creating the good name for Nigeria in motor manufacturing in Austin started with spare parts. That's how they grow. So you are looking at a man, Soludo, who understands his people. You are looking at a man who has seen the people make things happen. Why investing in a state that will teach Nigeria how to make money? That's what Anambra is. So if they dredge the water, if the airport begins to work, if the same spirit of these Igbos are still there, because I have friends and neighbors in the Gambia who come into Ochanja Market every Sunday night to be able to shop on Monday and go back home.
Wow.
So you are looking at the magic of Africa. They call them whatever they call them. And then I will tell you this story again. When I started this program that I'm talking about, the EDC in the Southeast, these boys refused to come to class. They refused to come to class. You know why? Because I had to go look for them. I said, they are in Northern, sit down. Talk to me. I am here trying to develop you guys. I have money from Central Bank to give to you guys. They say, go on, how much are you going to give to me? who the hell do you think you are asking me to leave my wares for 3 months and come and sit in class to learn what? So I surrendered and I said to them, you mean you can't leave your shop, right? They said, yes. So I said, what if I bring the program to you in your shop? They say, yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Now you are talking.
Now you are talking. God bless you. So in March 2019, when the pilot program closed out, you know what I did? I went to Corporate Affairs Commission and I registered an open university.
Okay.
And took the program to them. And they said, this is what we're looking for. So you're looking at the people who are very organized. They know what they want. They know what they want. You can't hassle them. That's the spirit that Soludo comes to tap into and to make that simple state an example to the Southeast and Southeast an example to the entire nation. If
you know, as you were talking, yes. I was thinking of the development of democracy in Britain. It used to be a monarchy, serious monarchy,
Oh yes.
and
Oh yeah.
they were, but as the business and the factory increased in volume and determining the direction of the country, then they told their monarch, "Look, we want to be in charge. We know
Of
we are the
course.
commons, so we want, but we want to have a rulership position. We want to be in the decision making process there. Otherwise, we depose you." They were so strong enough, so the British monarch says, "Okay, you don't have to deal with me like they dealt with them in France, where they took them to guillotines. You don't have to do anything to me like they did in Spain. Why don't we just surrender?" And that was how they decided House of Commons, and that yes, they are commoners, they are common people. They were not aristocrats, but they determined the direction of the country. Like you just told us that the money claimed from the Anambrarians in Lagos, they determine what is going on in Lagos. Let me ask
Yeah.
our ambassador, Ambassador Nat, do you think we should get an organic development like this in Nigeria? I mean, we've tried this superficial, artificial democracy of APC and PDP, and it's not working. Should we just come to a position to say, look, let's develop organically? Now that people are coming up and we see that they are the ones determining the power, economic power. Is there a way we can copy from this thing we are seeing in Anambra, and we hope Soludo will be able to expand? Let me give one this example. Tinubu came as one person, developed politically, and extended to the Yoruba land, and we see what we see right now. But it has not worked. We want a technology, we want an economy that will develop structurally, infrastructurally. Do you think Soludo can be the man we've been waiting for? Not.
Well, for Anambra, yes, but for the other states in Nigeria, no, because of our fault lines, religion, ethnicity, and other factors. This is what has been hindering the development of Nigeria as a nation. And you know the other problem is decisions are taken on political consideration and not economic.
Wow.
And any country that take decisions on political considerations and not economic is not going anywhere. So those are some of the challenges. And you remember that Professor Charles Soludo, he tried before to contest for governorship in Anambra State, but he was told he had nothing in his bank account. The money in his bank account was not enough to even think of winning primaries and standing for election. So we don't know whether his bank account is now fat enough or his pocket is deep, but that is the situation. But the addition to Soludo again, apart from being an economics, an international banker, he is the second former central bank governor to become a governor of a state elect. Late Clement Isong of Cross River was the first one, retired uh, former governor of central bank and then governor of Cross River State.
Wow. So, but then here in Europe, we see that they normally follow a pilot. Once something is good in an area, it becomes a pilot, and other regions will now copy. So why couldn't we, if we see that the Anambra State is a pilot of good governance based on sound economic policies, sound uh, political policies. Why shouldn't all the southeastern states copy first, then the southwestern states copy as well? I mean, and then we grow gradually. Are we not tired of being underdeveloped, even going negatively developed? Are we not tired? What is wrong if we copy what is good among ourselves? Let me ask Dr. Sita if it is possible, if Soludo can be the Messiah. Do you think it will be that difficult, according to Ambassador Nat, that religion and ethnic rivalry will now make us not develop?
I
Not
share with His Excellency. I share with him. Religion, politics, they are our being. But believe me, let's wait for Soludo to finish his first 4 years, and I mean first 4 years of active governance. You will see the Igbo man's faith, stubbornness when he's doing the right thing, and glory when he wins. You see what have you been able to follow what's going on since it was shot that APGA was winning? Have you been able to follow social media to see what has been going on?
No, I'm in London. What do I know?
Sorry.
Please tell us.
Very sorry.
Please tell us.
There are streams of jubilation. People are going back to remind them, to remind us that whether we like it or not, once you put your best foot first, you make the journey work. Because he didn't just wake up to become governor. I'm happy that the ambassador reminded us of when he wanted to try first. His pocket didn't get any deeper because he didn't make money from anywhere else. But he started getting what we call field support. When we worked for him as SSG, Soludo never spent a dime. We worked for him based on faith. I was traveling how many kilometers? About 100 kilometers to attend meetings and go back home. Who would I ask for the money? I just fill my car and I tell my driver, let's go. But the issue will be if the hijackers of good governance, if the hijackers of people who polion beauty, who want to resist the good things of life, the problem will be if they come and we fold our hands and we're watching them and we say nothing. Because it is when the good guys sit by the ringside, watch the bad boys play. It is not the governor that is going to fight them personally. It is us. Because we have faith in what is coming. Because we understand that what is coming is to lead Nigeria right. When we keep quiet, because I live in London, I live in Abuja, I'm not living in Onitsha. Because if you keep quiet, you see, that's why I like what you guys are doing. There is nothing about Dr. Sheku Johnson or Ambassador Nat Nyako that will be immediate wealth in your pocket by doing what you're doing now. But because you have a conscience that will help us grow our own conscience, which is what we should do as civilized people, you are there planting your own seeds. Yeah. And because you're genuinely upright and honest about what you're saying, nobody is going to fight you to say, why are you doing? Because we analyze everybody. We talk about how they are. We call their names. We said what we said. And then there is a result to all of that. That he won the election. That is the issue. Soludo won the election. If as we were talking now, we're talking about we had about one rigging in one local government in one polling station. No, we saw somebody. No, we said that they counted the votes and the tally shows that when he's 4,000, some political parties are just one vote. It shows that he was preferred.
Yeah. I mean, he won with a landslide. There is no argument. So even if you tally APC and PDP together, they are not up.
Absolutely. When that man comes into office and somebody is trying to destroy him, we fight that somebody. Because collectively, even with our contribution, talking what we're saying, we have contributed to that good governance coming mainstream. And I'm begging us all. The only way we will destroy his reign is that we create an opportunity for people to talk down on whatever it is. Let them give him time. First year, second year, third year, fourth year. They will see what will happen.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let me ask Mark and Milan. Mark, it appears that the votes are counting now in Nigeria. They normally say your vote won't count. But I think we should start changing our mind and having faith. A little bit of faith in INEC. It appears that faith that vote is counted. This vote counted in Anambra election, isn't it?
Vote is counting. Dr. Shagu, that's a very good observation you have made there. Vote is counting, and they are genuine, they are authentic, they are not what we thought it would be. I was taking my time to listen to the great man, Dr. Sita, and since he's also on ground there, he can give us good storyline of what is going on. It's wonderful. The Anambra election has come and has gone, and it went well, and very impressive.
The next election will be, the next governorship election will be in Osun State. And so we should be telling them that, look, be proud of yourself. Your vote counts. I think once they know that their vote counts, they will not sell it.
Yes. I think it's executive function, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the issue now is that we should start building our people that they matter. I'm talking of the rural people, the city people, the town people. You matter and you have your vote. Do not look down on yourself. Your vote will eventually count. And you've got to be sensible.
Like they said, Dr. Shagun, politics is local. So it is the indigenous people, the local villagers. These are the people that make up politics. Whatever politics it is, senatorial, gubernatorial, presidential, all of this is, you need the ordinary people, you need the villagers, you need the market women, the rice seller, the newspaper man, the palm wine tapper. Everybody makes up that chain.
Yeah, I mean, yes, what I'm saying is that a program like this should start building the confidence of the average Nigerian that you matter and your vote will count. Now look at Anambra State. We understand that a group of women in Ebube, correct me if I'm wrong, a group of women, they rejected 5,000 naira. They said they will vote according to their conscience. The very moment that Nigerians in all the various states say, look, you are an important person, it's only you don't realize it. Start realizing the importance of your life and that you can determine the direction of governance. Then nobody will take money again. It will be anomaly. It will be repulsive. They will count it as an insult that me, a whole me, you want to buy me with 5,000 naira. I think it's high time we started building the confidence and the importance of our people so that they know that that vote counts. Nat, or what do you say? We have a job. We have a responsibility here.
Yeah, I think I had somebody talking of INEC. INEC had nothing to do with Anambra State elections. Left to INEC, they will have turned their... it would have been a different story. And this is the stories we keep hearing. And the people were told that Anambra is not Imo, and Edo is not Lagos. Edo is not Lagos. That is
Edo not be Lagos, Nigerians.
So the thing is that the individuals and the groups have a lot to do with democracy in Nigeria, because democracy is supposed to be by the people for the people. The populace determine what democracy should be. But unfortunately, we have a bipolar type of system in Nigeria that once the politicians get into office, they forget about the ladder that they used to climb up. They discard the man in Hela, they discard the man in Orumba North, and they just do what they want.
Then they talk about 5% and 95%. Okay,
this is our point of emphasis.
But I have a serious question for Dr. Sita. I have taken time to assess IPOP, and like Charles Soludo rightly said, the metaphor for restructuring. So if the government in Anambra starting from March next year decides to be good by any definition of it, What's the future of IPOB?
It's still what they are. You see, we are talking about Anambra State.
Yes.
IPOB in Anambra State would make Anambra State great because, sorry, what we know about IPOB is not terrorism. It's not even agitation. It is simple statements about who we are and who we want to become from what we are. And people are saying no to us because it does not make sense. So the young boys, like I told you, I don't belong there. I have never met with any of them. I know them one-on-one. I talk to them one-on-one. What you get from a relationship with the people like that is that when they believe you and have faith in you, you have loyalty. That's the way they are. Like I said, the last time His Excellency visited Imo State, I was in Owerri. And when I hear the news broadcast from what I saw in person, I said, the Owerri that I was in, because the man came for a couple of hours and left, and that was it. And the boys were saying, we didn't welcome you because you didn't come to us. We don't have a governor yet. Until we have a governor that we elect, then you can come as His Excellency, and then we'll give you reception. And when the Igbo man receives you, when the average Igbo man,
I saw it on the social media. They say when the Igbo man receives you, the kind of welcoming gestures and dances and feasting.
Wait for inauguration of Charles Soludo. Wait for March. When they talk about their own, this is ours. You see it. You see, you mentioned 5,000 naira.
Look, Dr. Sita, I've been waiting for the day that the Nigerians will be emancipated in their ego. They will be emancipated rather than oppressed and suppressed. But the day will be proud to be a Nigerian. I've been waiting for that day.
I am one of the proudest Nigerians anywhere in the world, because I tell people that you don't know us. People outside don't know us. They don't know Nigerians. And I mean every tribe in the country. We are a peculiar people. We are proud, we're industrious, we are strong. Our strength is amorphous. But the issue is when we come together, and like what His Excellency said, that was very brilliant, we allow religion and politics divide us. It's very painful. It's very painful, because a woman in my mother's village, they call it Ogidi in Idemili North, she was asked if they will give her, you just mentioned 5,000, if they give her money to vote for somebody, you know what she asked? He said, will the person fix this market where I sell things?
Oh.
Look at that intelligence. This is a woman who is selling breadfruit. We call it okwa. Breadfruit. She said, breadfruit. She will sit down there all day. Get up later, go home and come back the next day. She's asking them, will the person fix this market so that when this rain falls, I don't have to run away? Give us shade in the market. So if you cannot connect that 5,000 naira to build a new market for this intelligent woman, you can't get her vote.
Wow. Do you know why I'm excited? Because we have to go on a break right now. I'm excited because for the first time, I am proud to be a Nigerian on democratic process, where Nigerians in Anambra State, they voted according to their conscience. That's what is making me proud. Now, I'm from Lagos State. I'm proud to be a Lagosian, son of the soil. But I have seen that in my state, they vote according to one man said from somewhere, or one man has chosen to rig it, or they've gone to Bodilon Road to collect who will win, who will be the local government councillor, who will be the state senator representative. That is what is paining me. If everybody that is in Lagos State votes a particular candidate because of their conscience, I'll be so happy. I'll be a proud man. But if it is because it is manipulated because of one man, then I'm a dejected and rejected too. That is my excitement about Anambra State, that the people voted according to their conscience. I'm only asking, I'm begging for people to vote according to their conscience in other states. That's what we're asking for. And this is the beauty of it. I just give Nat 1 minute to say any other thing because we have to go on a short break.
Well, we are looking forward to after 2023. I think that is where we will start serious talk of where we want to head to.
Yes, we need it. We need it. Thank you very much. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the jailing of Meina for 60 years and the insecurity in Nigeria. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to News Echoes from Schengen, anchoring from Milan, Italia. We are still on, and we want to discuss the jailing of Meina, one-time DG of pensions. Many Nigerian pensioners have died without collecting their money that they worked for over several years. And Meina has been the one who has stolen their money, according to the court. Today, we can say specifically that Meina was a rogue, a robber. He stole the money of the people, and some of them suffered in penury and died. Some are still living but could not take their money because their money has been stolen. Tear the court, and not me. I'm just repeating what the court says. And it's going to spend the next 60 years, even though they're to run concurrently in the custody of the federal prisons of Nigeria. Now we are told that eventually he may even only spend only 2.5 years because they're going to take it from 2019, 8 years. They don't normally hold a 12-month calendar. It's about 8-month calendar. By the time they reduce it from 2019, it may just last 2 more years there, and then he will have been he will have gotten away with all the money he stole. But I understand that the federal government will be taking away some of his properties. Already, his son has been charged and faulted and imprisoned for money laundering in absentia. So we don't know where the son is. So father and son, they're culprits and thieves in Nigeria that it's time to now name and shame. And I think Ambassador Nat will help us with the detail of what happened.
When you say let's go. We are going like Press that lift. This one is open. Let's go.
Ambassador, now it doesn't show any sense of remorse, does it?
No, he was smiling all the way.
Well, I mean, stealing has become part of the lifestyle, isn't it? Nigeria.
Yes, his name is Abdul Rashid Meina. He was an assistant director in one of these federal ministries. I think either information or internal affairs during Jonathan's regime. And because Jonathan had compassion for pensioners, he appointed Maina as the chairman of the pensions committee or pension. It was a temporary appointment, but before we could talk of Jack Robinson, Maina had gathered more than 20 billion naira into
My
various
Lord.
into various accounts for himself, his relations, his friends, and everybody else. And so Mena became a government of his own. He was riding in Abuja with mobile and I mean, he was big, living big and living large.
And
Uh,
he jumped bail twice.
yeah, he jumped bail twice. He was brought back and was even promoted and posted to one of the ministries. So, but the wheel of justice grants gradually but surely gets to its destination, and that is what we saw yesterday. Mena, despite being a billionaire refugee, was convicted and been sent to jail.
Do
He
we have a
speaks.
list? Do we have a list of what the federal government has confiscated from him?
No, I don't have it by heart. But what I
Yes.
have is it is a true reflection of the Nigerian larger society. That is what we have been. I mean, the pensioner has worked for a minimum maybe 35 years or more, and he's supposed to now enjoy the benefits of his labor as he waits for the departure lounge, as Clark we say. He's got the boarding ticket, but Maina, out of a very wicked heart, decided to steal money from pensioners, and this is where we are today. But before this final judgment by the judge, Maina was with stolen money was preparing to be the governor of Borno State. He
Wow.
Yeah, because he has
Well,
stolen
for
money.
the benefit of our viewers, we need to inform them. When we start shaming ourselves for stealing, maybe some people with conscience will stop it. For the benefit of our viewers, I think I have a list here. It says a list of things uncovered, not yet recovered, a list of things uncovered which the court heard and which the court has directed that they should confiscate. This is the list. Number one, cash disposals of 300 million naira, 500 million naira, and 1.5 billion naira in two Nigerian bank accounts. Number two, property in Abuja paid for with $1.4 million cash. Number three, 50 cars in Dubai. Number four, plush villa in Dubai. Number five, $2 million property in Jabi, Abuja. Number six, coastal logistics belonging to Meina received uh, flow of $400,000 in cash. Kangolo Dynamic, another company belonging to Mena with over 500 million naira fund in its account. The company has never carried out any service or contract. Number eight, several choice properties in America and the United Arab Emirates. Those are just the ones they uncovered. Oh, thank you very much for showing them. Those are those ones we will then cover. So how will we not name and shame such a person who have sent people to world beyond without having their money? Dr. Osita, how do we deal with this banditry in high places?
The banks,
Dr. Osita.
the banks.
The banks.
Yes, if you
Tell
can
us
hear
more.
me, I just
How do
said
you
the
do
banks.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This man had UPA and Fidelity working with him.
Yes.
Where does that conscience come from? Where does that private sector conscience come from? We're not talking about governors in government houses now. Maybe we're talking about people like you and I, Dr. Shegun, people like you and I, Ambassador Nat, people who don't even, let me put it this way, they don't even understand, or they understand, but they very evil-mindedly go ahead to flush these things under the carpet while people are dying. What kind of a banker will sit down and know that there are millions of pensioners whose monies have been stolen in that number, and you're keeping it for the rogue? This is a trusted Nigerian who went rogue. The guy's attitude went completely south. And then in all of that, the police gave him escort. The police made him a king, made him a lord. And then when you're talking about that, you're talking about his community, and then he said they're going to campaign for him eventually and make him a governor. These are the issues that are wrong with us as a people.
Yes.
And believe me, my friends know that. I'll give you one example. Me, as a young journalist in the 1990s, I was doing my own thing. One of my friends, a military general, called me and said, "Go to your state and become a commissioner for whatever it is, communication or whatever they call it."
Information, they call it.
Yeah, information, yes. And he meant it, because he knew, after having worked with him during youth service in the early 1980s, now he's a general, he knew me. So he gave me a letter to a military administrator in my state, signed in his green ink. I got into Asaba. I turned around, all my friends were there, people who were with me in broadcasting in Benin City when we were there. They said, "Sister, where you come out from?" But at this time, I had done everything. I have gone to school, gotten a master's degree. I had published my own magazine. I had done so many things. And now I said, "Where is Oga?" They say, "Oga never come work." Oga never come work was 10 a.m. Oga never come work was 11:30. Oga never come work was like noon. No, Doc, hear this, because it almost caused trouble between myself and my wife.
Wow.
So by 2:30, this military administrator was still sleeping in his house. And government house now, the house is just next door to his own office. So I stood there and I called the chief of protocol. I said, "Charlie, you know me now. I'm going to leave this letter with you. This is my telephone number. Tell Oga to call me if he wants me to work with him." Charles said, "No, I won't let you do this. You've done everything before in the past. You're not living here. Just wait for God to come now. At least the man will give you your portfolio. You go your ministry, go get people." I said no. So I left Asaba. Before I left by 5 p.m., I made sure that I did everything possible. I left. I got into Benin, because at that time, Asaba didn't have an airport. I got to Benin very late, flew the next day back to Lagos. Unlucky me, the day after I came back, my friend's wife, the general's wife, saw me at the gas station and said to me, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in Asaba, helping people grow." So I turned around and I looked at her, we hugged ourselves, and she said, "I told my husband they cannot work without administrator." Because I lived with them during NYSC. That was a long time, in 1982. So he said, "Come, let's go to the house." So I followed her to their house in Ikoyi. We ate dinner. As we were eating dinner, Oga returned from work. As soon as he saw the back of my head, he screamed, "So, sister, what are you doing in my house? You're supposed to be in Asaba." I said, "No." So I told him the story. He said to me, you're the only one I know who will take the steps that you took. But welcome, because you're giving me the right impression about the man that I helped put there." So when I got home, and my wife was asking me, "Daddy, when are we going to Asaba?" I said, "No, that I didn't take the job. I dumped it." She didn't speak with me for 1 month. So I said, well, but you know me now. He said, no, I have become a commissioner's wife. So 3 months later, when they removed the man, I called my wife and I said, they removed the man, or would have been gone? She said, yes, I would have been an ex-commissioner's wife.
Wow.
So, yeah, so the issue is this. If we have people of integrity, I know there are so many people of integrity in this country. If without politics of compromise, people in office like Charles Soludo today would pick people who will think like him, who will have less minors in office. I believe that. I know that Nigerians, we have so many people with integrity, people who are ready to work, and at least my classmates, my friends, my childhood friends, people I know, people I work with, and people I came back from the States with. We are just there saying, if we have an opportunity, this is what we think we will do. But that is not the point now. Menor is going to go to jail.
Yeah, let me now go to jail, and we hope
even if he stays in jail for 3 months, he's an ex-convict. That's my point. He has been convicted by the laws of the land that he did the wrong thing. The man stole from us.
You remember when we were young, and I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask Nat and Mark in quick succession. When we were young, if you stole 1 kobo and you are caught, you become ostracized, you become dejected. The community where you are will never love you, will never show, they will never condone it, let me say. But today, I'm sure this man, some people will be saying, go there, after 2 years, you come and start enjoying the money you stole. Nat, when you were growing up, what did you experience?
Well, the values were different, and what is in a name was very, very important. It cannot be overemphasized. And apart from being ostracized in the community, you are told to leave the village, and they will pack your things away and tell you, don't show your face here again. So the values then are not what we have today.
Mark, what's your own experience when you were young and there's somebody, I mean, a boy of 10 should steal even his daddy's money? What will the society feel?
Dr. Shago, it was a very shameful act. Very, very, it's like you said, they will ostracize you. But you know what happened? It started in the late 80s and towards 90s. The 419ers came up. Now, because they were flaunting cash and showing very exotic lifestyle, parents, mothers and fathers that used to abhor such things, now because people were seeing this beautiful life, so somehow it became accepted. And the era of the military the military rulers came in, where money was stolen. Now they were giving excuses that if these military leaders could be stealing money like this, then the 419ers are also accepted. So somehow values and integrity, morals and honesty faded off during this period.
Wow.
It started in the 80s, towards the 90s. Then the 419ers became so strong and they were taking over the whole land. I was in school then, and I know what they were doing. They were even taking people's wives and girlfriends. So now the era began to fade off. Now, and the younger Nigerians saw this also and tapped into it. And the Yahoo boys arose. So this was how the era came. And now values, morals.
Thank you. I remember the folklores about, I'm sure many of you will have had this growing up, that a boy was stealing pencil and pen, and the mother was saying, good boy, good boy. Then he grew up from school and was stealing, and the mother would say, good boy, good boy. One day the boy was caught and was going to prison, and he said, excuse me, I want to talk to my mom. And then he went to his mom and pretended to speak to her by ear, and then he beat the mother's ear, saying, you did not stop me when I was stealing pencil and pens. when I was bringing money. You are the cause of my going there. Now, those were stories they told us so that the society should not support stealing from their children. But I'm not sure anybody is saying that kind of story now. And more importantly, is that people we know who have stolen the government from the government, they are the ones being exalted right now. They are politicians. People are supporting them. They are stealing. They are taking money from when we know they have stolen it. They unabashed. And well, we'll just leave it because I want us to talk about the railway gauge. The transport minister, Amechi, appeared before the National Assembly and said the railway gauge that will go from Kano to Maradi in Niger Republic will be standard, but the one moving from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt will be narrow gauge. And the National Assembly was saying Nigeria will borrow money, our children and grandchildren will pay the debt. For Maradi, standard gauge like it's done in other countries of the world, and yet the one from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt, your own place, will be narrow gauge. What kind of sense is that? The amount of economy going on in the south, south, and southeast that this narrow gauge will service is 10 times greater than the economy coming between Maradi and Kanu. And let me just leave it to you, gentlemen. Nat, quickly, what is your reaction to Amechi's position?
Well, Rotimi Amechi, the Honorable Minister of Transport, with emphasis on building or refurbishing railway lines and trains, he brought up that proposal for Kanu Maradi rail passing through Daura, the president's place.
Okay.
And the Federal Executive Council accepted that that thing, and that was after building a transport university in Daura. The next thing was to build a rail line, and the explanation by the federal government was that because there is more trade from Niger Republic and then from the neighboring countries who don't have access to the sea for imports, they will use that line because that line will come from Kano to Maradi, then Maradi into Nigeria to Lagos. But that was a political decision, and any political decision doesn't consider the economic aspect. And because Amechi has a presidential ambition, which he keeps denying, he thought he was going to do the president a favor or do Nigeria a favor. Let's give Kasina people a rail line and a transport university. Meanwhile, the Southwest Road has been ongoing for how many years I don't know, but that is where transport development was needed most. And then the railway line from Port Harcourt coming through the Middle Belt to Plateau State and to Maiduguri, it's not even functioning again. But Amechi didn't see anything. Talking of a super rail line from Kano to Maradi with standard gauge, and then it's people who need this rail line most is giving them an inferior rail line and trains.
Thank you for that good explanation. Dr. Osita, why do African leaders take some brainless decisions and they are going to pay for it? Their children and grandchildren are going to pay for it with interest unabated, and they are brainless because it just does not make sense.
Thank you. The truth is that there's no trade between Niger and Nigeria. There's no trade. There is no trade. when I worked for you,
But
said Nigeria.
they may claim that they are bringing cows.
No. Let's not do any claim. There is no trade between Onitsha and Asaba. There's no trade. It's just people going across the bridge to buy things and go back home. That is the story between Jibia and Maradi. Jibia in Nigeria as the border town, and Maradi as the next town in the Niger Republic. You just enter your car or drive your bike across. If you're going to Dawana market to buy grains, you go there and buy grains and go home. That is not trade. That is buying. So when I arrived Jibia, carrying my you said materials, trying to record how this trade happened, because I was manager for Lakaji, Lagos Kano Jibia corridor, 1,150 kilometers of road. The idea was to find out if we could have agro hotspots along 8 states of the country. Use that as a slice of the country to build what we now call a developed agricultural state. The American government sponsored it, they funded the program. As manager of the corridor, I traveled on that corridor from Lagos Port to Jibia Outpost. And it's only when you get to Jibia Outpost that you see what we call porosity. We don't have a boundary. There's no boundary between Nigeria and Jibia and Niger. That Jibia town is just a play town. Children come from Niger towns, Niger small towns, and play whatever they want to play in Jibia and go home and sleep at night. There are no gates. So there's no trade. So anybody telling you that they are doing that to whatever trade is telling the lies that will ruin this country forever. Because when you look at it, you just mentioned bringing cows. No, it's not about bringing in cows. They're not bringing cows. The cows are there. The cows cross. So my answer to your question about Amechi is that he has never been ready about developing transportation in Nigeria. He had always been ready about his personal ambition to do whatever it takes that is there under the sun to be relevant to himself and to his cohorts. That's the selfish aspect of African leadership that is destroying us. So when that happens, or when that continues to happen, we can't find development. Not with people like him. Not with people like him. Because the ministers for transportation before him had a plan. People with plan couldn't even achieve 1/3 of their plan. Talk to us of somebody without a plan. So he jumped into office and started reading files and started picking them without even asking questions. Today, we have
I'm mindful of the time, Mark, with the decision-making process like this, where they will just take one decision, political, and not mindful of the future, the debt, and so many things. How can we salvage Nigeria? And I'm talking in terms of making the right policy and enforcing it. Two things: making the right policy and enforcing it, and probably bringing the third thing, securing it, because the railway between Lagos and Kaduna is no longer in operation because some people are bombing the road when they refuse to take care of the security. So one is the decision making, which we want it to be right, and another is securing that it is done, that it is enforced, and ensure that it continues. How do we solve our problem?
We'll start by having credible people in the House of Senate. Our House of Senate and the lawmaking houses should have men and women, noble men and women of credibility. So that's where we'll start first, and give the Senate more power. The Minister of Transport is not more than the House of Senators. You see, the Minister of Transport should listen to legislators and more policy makers than just doing things because he's a stooge. Amechi is a stooge for the presidency. It's sad that he is. because he's an intelligent young man, but because of selfish ambition and being used as a stooge, he's just doing things that that will have no impact, like Dr. Osita said. But when the House of Senate is empowered and have credible people, they can counter some of these wrong policies that will bring us nothing. So the House of Senate, if we can change the people we put there, put young people, credible people, intelligent, dynamic people, and not a recycle of politicians. Buhari probably is thinking of coming back to Senate too.
It's been touted on the social media. It's been touted, but I'm sure he will respect himself.
Why?
Well,
why would he respect himself? Why would Dr. Shegun? Yeah. Dr. Shegun, why would he respect himself?
He will respect. He will
no,
respect
why? No, just tell me why now. Don't laugh about it. Why would he not go to Senate?
Because he's been president as a military man. He's been president, two-term president as a civilian, and he will want to respect himself. That he doesn't now. When he had a national constituency, at the moment the whole Nigeria is his constituency. So why will he now go for a third of a state to be his constituency? That is where
you think the man is thinking like you, right? you brilliant, Britain. You think the man is thinking like you. The issue at stake is not whether he wants to. If they ask him to go, he will go. I mean, I'm not kidding you. If they come together, that same cabal that leads him by the head.
His friends should be able to say, sir, that is the meeting.
With friends, if he's going to see that will allow them steal more, they'll put him there. What are you saying? Why wouldn't he go? Look at you.
I think today's meeting has been very good in one thing. It's time we started building the average Nigerian to see his own capacity, that he can affect the person who will be in place. Like Dr. Sita has opened our eyes to see that the Anambrarians, they have this capacity to see from our conscience, this is the person we want. And like Mark said, that if we can put the right places in the right people in the right places, like Senate, House of Representatives, then they will be able to stand against the executive. And like Ambassador Nat has told us, that it is time we start opening the eyes of the people. I think like we can attack what is wrong in the community, but at the same time building the confidence of the average Nigerian. You have the power, you are a human being, you are not a riffraff, whether you have a degree or not, you are not a riffraff, you are important, you have the ability to turn this nation around through your vote, through your vocal ability, and we can start from here and we'll see something done. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to thank you for watching wherever you are all over the world. I have to thank my colleagues, and my colleague from Abuja, Dr. Osita, a veteran man in the academic world, in the journalistic world. I have to thank former ambassador of Nigeria, Ambassador Nat Yakwo, of course, our colleague Migrant in Milan, and the crew, the studio crew in Milan. Thank you very much. Until next Wednesday, when we come with the latest happening around the globe. This is News Echo saying goodbye.
Thank you very much. We're just talking about the Senate passing the bill on